Okay. All right. Hello. Welcome, everyone. This is our PTA Welcome Zoom. This is not a meeting. This is really just a very, very broad overview of the who, what, where, when, why, and how of the PTA, both at Maya Lin, but also in the broader scope of the national PTA landscape. And that's what it is. I am a little bit admittedly woo-woo with how I run my meetings. And so it'll hopefully not just be us talking at you. There will be moments of participation. We have jam boards because my personal belief as a leader in our community is that the PTA is in service of the wolf pack. And so I really personally want to hear what our wolf pack needs and what our wolf pack wants. That's number one. And so I really try not to do too much talking at you. So to begin, I always do a grounding exercise, and this is just 1 minute of breathing. That's all it is. So please join me in breathing for a minute. And that is it. That is the breathing. I always like to start meetings with some kind of breathing and check-in exercise because it's important that we check in with ourselves and check in with each other. Oh, I haven't actually officially introduced myself. My name is Erica Hartono. I am your PTA president this year. I really have a strong feeling and calling to PTA work as a way to get our community connected and strong and just like being human with each other. So that is why I always start meetings with breathing and with checking in. So in the chat box, while you are breathing, just notice how are you feeling and what might you need in this moment. And then go ahead and share it in the chat box. And I'm going to ask Maria to please read what is showing up. Maria is our vice president.
Nervous, I need to breathe. Felt relaxed and appreciate the mindfulness practice. I love you, Alex. I just added it.
Yeah, I think it's normal in a meeting like this, the start of the year. Love our wolf pack. We love you too, Alex. To have nerves, excitement, curiosity, maybe a little frazzledness because it's a lot these first couple weeks of school. Jamie says she's resetting or she needs to reset.
I feel relaxed. I need these every day. Hungry, which is why my camera is off. Also tired. Yep. I feel like very typical for a Thursday afternoon.
Yeah. It's been a really fun couple of weeks, but it's been tiring.
Yeah.
Welcome everyone. People are starting to trickle in. We're just gonna keep going because again, I don't want to keep you all too much on a Thursday night. I also always start meetings with community agreements. Those of you who keep coming throughout the year, if you don't do these in your daily life and your daily practices, things like checking in, holding up agreements, these are just restorative ways of being that actively build relationships So if and when things go wrong, we can restore to those relationships. And then also we can just feel a sense of interconnection. So these community agreements that you see on the left side of the screen are actually agreements that we've started building together this year as a PTA board. And then we built on agreements we came up as a PTA community last year. So I'll go ahead and read them out loud. And if you would like to drop in the chat box one of these agreements that's maybe especially resonating with you, or maybe you can share an agreement that you feel like is missing. But these are just a community agreements that we hope we can hold when we are together, and hopefully hold each other accountable for when we don't hold them up. So honor each other's humanity, identify and remove barriers. I find this one really important as PTA leadership in a school community. Keep kids at the center, make space for each other. When we came up with this agreement, it was specifically for meetings, right? So step forward, but also step back. We are all learners here, so get curious, own your impact should things go a little awry, lean into discomfort, really important, especially because when you're in the PTA or in PTA leadership positions, you do get to hear a lot of feedback. So lean into that discomfort and then really try to speak from our own lived experiences. That's something that we really need to think about as a PTA, that we are not speaking on behalf of others, and embrace multiple truths because we all have many lived experiences. The what do you call this? The image you see on the right side of the screen is really just a cool thing I found on the internet, but I thought it was some good agreements as well. You can tell I'm tired. But the one I really like is together we know a lot, which as you'll see as this Zoom experience continues, I really want to lean into each other to see what we know as a collective. Today, we will be focused on the PTA 5Ws. Like I said, today is not a PTA meeting. We're just giving big, broad overviews. Strokes. So our how, this is really important. So when we do the 5Ws, we usually think who, what, where, when, why, how. Why and how is always at the bottom. I like to start with our how because this is how we are hoping to be with each other, which is really, to me, the most important part of all of this. Because if we're working so hard for each other and we're working so hard with our students and the staff, but we're not like noticing how we're showing up, to me, it feels meaningless and maybe not as impactful as it could be. So last year, our 22-23 guiding principles for this group of PTA was to aspire to be a community of care rooted in restorative justice practices and committed to disrupting oppressive ways of being. And you can click on all those links to like have an understanding of what we meant by that. But in a nutshell, we just wanted to be watching out for each other. We were still, and we still are, but we were in a major recovery moment from the pandemic. We wanted to rebuild our relationships with each other, build new relationships with new families, and then committed to disrupting oppressive ways of being. Sounds really big and heavy, but it was just really like, how can we remove barriers? How can we identify roadblocks to participation? And how can we just like check ourselves to notice if we're leaning into things like perfectionism to uphold power, or leaning into things like urgencies to like not have time to listen to each other, listen to feedback. So that's what that was. This year, we're hoping to grow and build upon what we started last year. And I'm sharing Borderlands as a framework for this work, essentially using the PTA as a tool to design for equity, inclusion, and justice. We have barely begun this work, so we haven't come up with a beautiful little vision like we did last year. But I'm going to ask Maria to read what the concept of the Borderlands is.
The Borderlands is a juicy place. It is a place of possibilities, chaos, creativity, conflict, and beauty. Journeying through the in-betweenness brings the center to the Borderlands, making permeable the walls and boundaries of the institution. Sandra, can you please go away? Thank you. It pushes, it pushes the center out into the Borderlands, making it part of its chaos and creativity, conflict and beauty. In doing this, the borderland becomes what is normal, diversity and justice become the standard. The borderlands becomes the beloved community for which we all yearn. I always love reading this. Thank you.
Thank you, Maria, for reading that. And I love that your child, I don't know which one that was bringing in exactly that chaos that we're talking about, right? So when you think about public education, especially, and this is not going to be a talk on like the history of public education, it is an institution that really honors a very specific standard. So I think as a community, we have a great opportunity to notice what it looks like when we journey into the borderlands and we're not asking everyone to press themselves into the center. And I love the last part of this. The borderlands become the beloved community for which we all yearn. Because I do really strongly believe that when we make space for ourselves to be authentic and those around us to be authentic, we really get that beloved community that everyone wants. On this slide, you can click on Borderlands and it will give you the full article that this is from. This is the work of social justice and racial justice educators that use this as a framework for folks to notice how they're showing up and how they can do better in their communities. And please, everyone, use the chat box if anything comes up for you and that you want to share. So tonight, here is part one of how we build together. We identify shared values. So we started this work last year, and I'm just using the Jamboard that we used last year. This is only going to take a few minutes. We're not going to spend a lot of time on this. But I want you to stop for a moment and think of a place or a community or a group of people where you feel that you authentically belong. And how do you feel in this place or community? And what values are upheld there? And then you can click on this link and I'll open it in a second to use this Jamboard to record your thoughts. And I'm going to make Maria talk some more. I'm going to open it and she can read what was populated last year. Doing this kind of work really helps us to see what does it look like to design for the borderlands? What does it look like to design for an interconnected community? All right, I'm opening it up. Maria, if you would do the honors to read. These are the things that were shared last year at this PTA Welcome Zoom.
So
And
some
then,
oh,
oh, sorry. And those of you who've never used this, you open this up and then it'll say use the sticky notes. You click on the sticky notes right here and you write whatever you want and it will show up on the screen. Okay, thank you, Maria. Sorry.
technical difficulties. Um, so some feelings from last year were burden-free, connected, belonging, relaxed, fully accepted, like my full self, appreciated, calm, open, restored, happy, funny, seen, at ease, joy, open, appreciated. I think I said them all, like my full self. And then did we want to go to values or
Yeah, go ahead and read the values.
transparency, equity, trust, forgiveness, safety, inclusion, respect, obstacle-free, connection, access, humor, laughter, community, social justice, empathy, boldness, love, celebration.
Thank you, Maria. I see that honesty and empathy just popped up, or that honesty was a feeling, empathy is a value. And this Jamboard is always open. So I'm constantly checking this to see like if what we are doing as a PTA is aligned with, oh, I just realized I'm sharing my screen, so sorry, is aligned with what we're doing. So keep on sharing and we're gonna continue. Our why. Again, on the same Jamboard, you will see on the second page that people have started sharing their whys. This is where I wanted to share the National PTA's vision and mission. So this is straight from the National PTA website. Every PTA's vision is making every child's potential a reality. Our mission is to be a powerful voice for all children, a relevant resource for families and communities, a strong advocate for the education and well-being of every child. I wanted to share this tonight because I do actually feel our PTA is pretty successful at upholding the mission of the National PTA. If you look on the slide, you can click on more info about the Maya Lin PTA vision and mission here. And that will take you, I'll click on it. It will take you to our website and it will give you more of a breakdown of what we specifically do. But I wanted to start at the national level just because I was actually super proud when I read it. I was like, oh, I think we're doing that. So while we're doing this presentation, you can go to the second page of the Jamboard. Oh my gosh, I think I have like, oh yeah, okay, here we go. The second page of our Jamboard, you'll see we started this last year. What's your why? And people shared why they joined the PTA. So for connection, for the children, for partnership, to support the teachers, to be in the loop, et cetera. And then people put questions on the side. So I am giving you all a little bit homework. So in the Jamboard, share your whys and share your feelings and values when you are in community with others. I'm going to continue because, like I said, I really don't want to spend too much time talking. We will have time for questions at the end. I know I'm going quickly. I wanted to jump to this part because this to me is really like the core of why the wolf pack is different than like any other PTA. Who are we? We're going to take a moment to introduce all the PTA executive board members who are here tonight. And then any PTA leadership, and I haven't really given you all a heads up that we're doing this, but what that means is anyone who might lead the safety patrol, or anyone who might lead garden efforts, or anyone who might lead safe routes to school efforts, the social justice and equity efforts, anything like that. If you do any sort of leadership role at the school, please take a moment to share. What we'll do is we'll share our names, our roles, our pronouns, if you want to do that, and your personal why of why you joined the PTA. I will start and then I'll pass the mic. Okay, my name is Erica Hartono. I am the PTA president. I use she, her pronouns. And my why for the PTA this year is honestly, this is the second AUSD school that my children have been at. My older son was at Otis, and I have found at both schools that serving the PTA is one of the most incredible ways to be of service to your community. This is the place that our kids are at every single day. Elementary school is the longest time our kids will be in one institution. And and Alameda is a tiny little town. And I just have found, and I know this sounds cheesy, but my time with PTAs have been the times that have been the most fruitful and exciting for me in a school community. I'm going to pass the mic to Karen because Miss Ringwald has joined us tonight just for a quick moment to introduce herself. And so I'm going to pass the mic to Karen.
Thanks, Erica. Hi, everyone. I'm Karen. I'm the principal. My pronouns are she, her, and I just feel so lucky to be part of a school with such an incredible PTA. I think as a parent with kids that go to school in Alameda, I was overwhelmed and amazed by all the incredible opportunities that the PTA offers for kids. And as someone who's been an administrator in schools, that I know that schools can't run on their own. And so when I think of the joy factor and the things that like bring excitement and enthusiasm to my kids' lives, so much of it is PTA driven. And then also from a school side of it, schools in California are just so terribly underfunded. It's a statewide problem. And so just the extra resources that the PTA provides is also absolutely incredible. But yeah, the sense of community and opportunities and joy that you all bring to students is really amazing. And so I am so grateful for all of you and feel so fortunate to be part of this community. I will pass it to Maria.
Thank you. So Maria Garcia, my why, I'll just script to my why. my children, all the children. I came here as a little girl, and I just, school for me had a really big impact, and I was very lucky that I had teachers that cared for me. And so if I can be there to support our teachers, parents, like, what a wonderful and privileged thing that I'm able to do. I will pass it on to Jamie.
Maria is our executive vice president.
Thank you. That I just get to talk, no?
Hi, I'm Jamie Martinez. I am the PTA secretary this year, and my pronouns are she, her. My biggest why is just really wanting to be connected to the community and involved in the school at like the ground level, kind of being in a loop, like knowing what's coming up and seeing how I can lend a paw, and just, helping shape the experience for my kids and all the other students. I have 2 kids at Maya Lin, so they love it there, and so do we as parents. So we want to give back. I will pass it over to Megan.
Megan, my pronouns are she, her, financial secretary. I do it for the kids in the community too. Thoughts that have come before me. Yeah, I want my kids to grow up in a beautiful environment in which they can thrive. And if I can do something to have a positive impact on that, I am all about it. And I will pass it to Nathan and Gina, because Gina yelled at me today on the street, and I always love it. I walk home with my dog, and she passes me on the way home, and it's always such a nice greeting.
Yes, I do. And if I see any of you guys, I will holler out of the street incredibly loud, because that's the only level I know how to be. Hello, my name is Gina, and I'm Wolfie, but I'm also in charge of the drop-off zone in the mornings. Jamie, actually, I mean, that was word for word. Did you see my brain? That was my exact word for word on my why. So if I were to choose a different why, another why would be I really like to serve, whether it's in our community or whatever it is. And so I think that this is a great opportunity for our kids to show the purpose and the beauty behind helping out and serving and doing something that's bigger than you. And 20 minutes a day, doing opening doors and like directing traffic, easy breezy, beautiful cover girl status. So that is super easy. It's a bonus that I get to work with such amazing kiddos and develop their voice as they learn their leadership role. And that's really cool. It's a bonus that I get to see all these beautiful parents in the morning. And but the basic would be just because it's helping the community and helping the anyways, that's that. Okay, Nathan, I went purposely before him because he's a really
Wait, you forgot to speak about Wolfie.
she, her. Oh, what?
Wolfie.
Oh, I am also Wolfie. You may not recognize me because I don't have sweat pouring down my face right now. And so I do Wolfie. I love being Wolfie. I love playing with the kids. I love just being silly, getting on the floor and getting dirty. I was a mascot in high school, so I feel like I've been training my whole life for this moment. So I love that I can put my energy towards good use. So that is that. Nathan.
Okay, so I'm Nathan. I am the VP of Engagement on the PTA board. I'm also the first wolf. So I'm in charge of nutrition and exercise. Not just kidding. Gotta put a little humor in there. But for me, the reasons of getting involved, and I know this may sound silly, but there is this elephant in the room of PTA boards lacking dads. And so I wanted to be a part of helping to break that ground, and being able to come in there as a dad, and representing that aspect of families. I want to do it to have my kids and other kids be able to have a voice, to have somebody who can ally with them and stand for them. With recent school shootings that have happened throughout this nation, it's left up to kids and teachers in schools to protect themselves. And I'm like, that doesn't sit very well with me. So being able to just be an advocate in any way that I can, definitely to build community, it's so important. We lost a dad, one of our own. Sorry. And it's just beautiful to have a community around, families when something tragic happens. I think we're all in this world looking for a place to belong, looking for a place that we can call our own. And Maya Lin it's a great place to have that. And also to just, make a difference in any little way that we can. Sometimes we don't think, oh, I'm just, bringing coffee, or I'm just, greeting people, or I'm just helping in this little aspect. I'm not really making a difference. But collectively together, it's a huge impact, and every little thing counts. So, and I will pass it to, let's see here. Oh my gosh, I'm like
Our skin's really
watery,
small.
and I also have watery eyes. And we're introducing just anybody. We're just passing the hot potato.
We're starting with PTA leadership, but those of you who are not on PTA leadership, there's not very
well,
many
then
of
I
us
will
in the
pass it to
school.
the name that I've been practicing, and I
Okay,
nailed.
good.
Marraine, it's yours.
He has been practicing for the randomly during the day. Just says your name.
Okay. Well, I'm Marijn Kruiselbrink. I'm the PTA parliamentarian this year. He, him pronouns. And I guess I mostly just want to help out wherever I can, and this is where I could help out. So this is what I'm doing this year, and we'll see what the future brings. And I guess I'll pass it over to Kelly.
Kelly might be eating. So I'm going to pass it to Alex, because Alex is just under you on my screen.
Well, he's also in the next room. So I'm Alex Sparrow, and that's my kid Zoom bombing. I don't like pronouns, and I'm the garden lunch volunteer coordinator. I'm also on some of the affinity group things, I guess Rainbow Wolves. And yeah, I think that's
it. Alex is being climbed on. Oh,
she ran away. What else was I supposed to add, or was that it?
I guess what's your why? Why do you help out why have you joined the PTA? Why do you help out at Maya Lin?
Because I like plants. Because I like telling people about native plants and stuff, and the kids are interesting and cute and fun, or that sounds like I like kids. I don't know if I do, but you want them to have good things.
I see Kelly's back, so I'll pass it to Kelly.
My phone thought I was driving and it wouldn't let me unmute or engage. So Kelly Jackson, auditor. So I totally admire everything everyone said, because I'll say that don't consider myself a PTA kind of person. And I kind of got guilt tripped into doing it as we were going into shelter in place by a friend who was like, we desperately need these roles. And so I was like doing Zoom meetings for PTA because I had never really gone in person. And so, but like, this has turned out to be an incredible group. I actually, like, Erica did not see me for like weeks. I wouldn't send pictures. And then eventually she tracked me down and got me very engaged and caring about the work that was being done, because it truly felt like it was being driven by the parents, the school, and the different voices, and not this like this is my show and this is how I'm going to run it. And you can do this for me. So I truly appreciate that about this board.
Well, and Kelly did not share that before being the auditor, she was our no, sorry. Yeah, she's the auditor now. She was the financial secretary. So this is year 4 for Kelly. So kind of ironic that she says she's not a PTA person, but I think she's been on the board the longest. Maybe running with second with Megan.
Yeah, with Megan.
And Laura, actually, our financial trio. I'll pass it to Megan.
He went, but I'm happy to pass it to the other.
Oh, you did go. I'm so sorry, Megan. Let's see. Okay, so those of you who are not on the PTA board, this is a small group, so guess what? You get to join right now. We were gonna wait till the end of the meeting to let you all warm up, but we're just gonna go for it. So you don't necessarily have to have this like fully formed why, but please introduce yourself, pronouns if you do that. And then either like your why for helping out with the PTA or like why you're here tonight. What's your curiosity about the PTA? Right. So I, like Kelly, was actually not a very PTA oriented person before I joined. And it was really my curiosity that brought me. I was just like, what is the PTA and why do they keep sending me emails? So I'm going to pass it to Alex because Alex is not on our board this year, but she's a longtime parent and she can model for our newbies what this looks like.
Oh, thanks, Erica. Throw me under the bus. No, I'm teasing. I do love the Maya Lin PTA. I am a parent of a 7th grader, so no longer a Maya Lin student, but definitely an alum. And I have a 1st grader in Miss Aisha's class. And my why for continuing with the PTA actually came back to me last night when I was out doing my grocery shopping. I'd had a really weird day and I was like, oh gosh, we're out of milk. And I'd already come home. So I got back in the car and I drove over to Trader Joe's and I was trying to just get my few things and keep my head down and get out of there and get back home. And this mom came up to me and she said, my daughter is a senior in high school this year. And I said, wow. And she said, didn't you teach at Maya Lin? And I said, no, I did not. But I was really active on the PTA board. And so I'm really grateful that she remembered me and she told me all about how her kid was doing. And that sense of community and connection is one of the main reasons why I continue to do this. So thank you for letting me share.
And those of you who are new to this Zoom meeting, I do call on folks, but you always have the right to pass. I'm going to call on Paulina. Let us know who you are, what brings you to this Zoom tonight.
Paulina! Woohoo! She's my neighbor. Hopefully she can hear me.
Hello, neighbors. Hi, my name is Paulina. I'm new in this, so I'm here because I want to learn what is the PTA. So my name son is Mateo. Everybody hear me?
Yes, thank you for
We hear
sharing.
you. Thank you, Paulina. And are you new to the school or are you just new to PTA Zooms?
I'm new for both
Oh,
school
welcome.
and
Welcome.
PTA, so thank you.
Thank you.
First day was Tuesday. Yesterday, 2 days ago.
Oh, wow. Welcome.
Thank you.
I see Allison has bravely come onto the screen. Oh, Allison, I think you're muted still.
Sorry. Hi, I'm Allison. I have a kindergartner and a 1st grader, and we're new to Maya Lin. And I was checking out the PTA and see if it works for working moms.
Welcome. And I do have to say that I'm looking around this screen and these are all working moms. So yes. I'm gonna go ahead and pass it to Kyle and Kristen. There's another person in that screen.
Hi, everyone. I'm Kirsten. This is my husband, Kyle. We are kindergarten parents, so this is very much a new era for us. And we're just thrilled to be going to a neighborhood school and learning about all the different ways we can get involved and support this community. So we're definitely here for informational purposes.
Kirsten, I thought Kyle was wearing a really cool hat.
Me too. I actually didn't realize Kyle was sitting there. I thought it was a some sort of wall like painting. Kyle,
I'm sitting
you're
here
not
and
off
I
the
thought,
hook.
I'm looking
Oh.
at Kyle and I'm like, dude, that is a cool fro. And then
No,
I'm like, dang, he is like jiving and styling up in here.
Well, Kyle, now you're really on the spot. You have to introduce yourself.
Oh, I'm Kyle. Hey, Kirsten covered it really well.
Welcome to Maya Lin. I'm going to pass it to Rebecca.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Rebecca Nasakawachi, and my daughter is new to Maya Lin kindergarten. Really been enjoying the process and just here to serve. That's my why, and whatever the team needs, I'm happy to help. So thank you.
Welcome, Rebecca. I love all these new kinder parents. We are so happy to have you here. This is my sales pitch for the night. It takes a long time to figure out how to help at a school, and it takes a lot of time for any sort of shifts or changes that you might want to happen at your school. So I'm not saying you have to jump in feet first kindergarten, but the earlier you start getting involved, the more you will see the fruits of your labor. So that's my little elevator pitch there.
And then my
okay.
little plug is for anyone that's looking to volunteer on site. Next week, back to school, we're going to have a live scan event, which is something that you will need in order to volunteer at the school. So please make sure you signed up. If you're not able to cover the fees, please email the PTA. Again, next Wednesday, the 30th, we're running it from 6 to 8:30. We sent out a link. And if you don't know how to volunteer, you can start out little. Just let us know. We're here to help. And we thank you for being here.
Can I throw a plug to you? I have kinders, 2 of them. And I think I've met most of you guys. If you know how they have like a friend in the diving business, I'm not doing any plug for anything like volunteering. If you just want a friend that knows like something, oh, I don't know what's going on. I always have a backup friend that's like, hey, tell me what's going on. I wasn't really paying attention. Like I could be your buddy for that. So if you just want, I will give my phone number away. Actually, I'll type it in right now. I'll have him type it in. I will be your friend. If you're looking for a friend, if you're looking for a play date, if you're looking just for someone, that at the school, I would love to just be someone at the school. So also, you'll be popular with your kid because you will know Wolfie as your BFF and you have Wolfie's cell phone number. This is my cell phone number. Feel free to call, text if you need a friend. So that's that. That's what the pack's about.
And I wanted to just comment that I think Maria was trying to allude to this, but the hardship about live scan is that there are scholarships available. So if you are a parent who's like, I'd totally volunteer, but I don't have the funds, please let the PTA know.
I see the question about, can you live scan elsewhere? I think actually Maria might have just dropped the link, but yes, you can live scan anywhere. You just need the paperwork from the district so that your fingerprints go to the right place. And anyone who works with children, that fingerprinting is a huge racket and you just have to be fingerprinted for every place you might be around children. I shouldn't say it's a racket, but you don't get fingerprinted once and you're good to go. You have to get fingerprinted for every organization you might help with. So once you do it for the district, you're set for life. Allison has not introduced themselves
I was
yet.
just gonna add,
oh,
just
go ahead,
to
Megan.
the local police station over on Oak and Lincoln, and they'll do the live scan fingerprinting for you.
Thank you, Megan. I don't think Allison has introduced themselves. Or no, it was Julia. Oh no, I've lost track. Allison, did you? Yes, Allison introduced herself. Julia, if you are available, come off your camera and say hello.
I am. Hi, I'm Julia. My daughter is in 5th grade, Maya. And I have not joined, I think I joined a PTA meeting or like one of the meetings when she was in kindergarten, but I haven't joined anything. And my reason for coming is I think I've kind of sat back too long, and I probably should have come in sooner because I have a lot of opinions. And I honestly don't want to be here, and that's probably why I need to be, if that makes any sense. Um, I I definitely have seen a lot of, change from kindergarten to fifth grade has been such a major transformation, and the social aspect of it has really affected my daughter. And I think more than anything, I get concerned for the interpersonal relationships in elementary school, and at such a big elementary school with this huge yard. And um, I think there's nothing I can really do, but I like to be a voice. And so I don't necessarily like want a position on the board or anything like that, but I just would love to like be a listening ear and a voice on behalf of my daughter. So thanks for having me.
Well, and that's so important because sometimes, PTAs, I'm not gonna lie, it is a lot of work. And so it can end up being a small group, and then it can end up being an echo chamber. So honestly, folks popping in for a meeting to be like, I'm noticing this thing. What have we thought about XYZ? It's so welcome. People are turning their screens on and off. Yes, we heard from Rebecca. Monica has joined. Okay, Monica, you get to close out the introductions if you're able to. Monica, we're just introducing ourselves. You have a lot of hats you can share. So you can share what you have done for the PTA, or if you want, or how old your kiddos are. And we're also sort of sharing our why for helping with the PTA, or why we're at this meeting tonight.
Hi, everybody. My name is Monica. Hi, Alex. Hi, everyone. We've been at Maya Lin since 2016, I think. I have a 7th grader now who is a graduated wolf and a 3rd grader in Miss Wong's class. And I was in the PTA for 2 years as the events coordinator and got to work with some really awesome people, and have really loved being involved in the school. And I substitute also, so I only work at Maya Lin as a substitute. So I know Maya, and I know a lot of your kids, and they're all awesome. And I'm just here to keep in the know. I'm not in the PTA this year, but I am a member, and you get lots of perks as a member. So yeah, go Wolves. Woo! I should also say that, okay, so I very strategically started with how are we together, why we come together, and then who. Because in my opinion, of the 5 W's, those are the most important. How are we together? Why are we together? And who are we? Like, without those things, the what, where, when is just, that's just logistics. I'll just share one more personal PTA why. I think we have a strong ability as a PTA to shape the culture of our school, which I think is what Julia might be speaking to. It's like how we are as adults with each other impact how our children are with each other. How we are with our teachers impact how our children experience the classroom, et cetera, et cetera. And I have a really great friend, and we say, like, what is culture? And he always says, culture is how we do around here, right? It's just like literally how we do, what we eat, how we are with each other, how we greet each other, et cetera, et cetera. So that's why I started there. Thank you, everyone, for introducing yourselves. I think you can tell from my speaking a little more slowly and a little more succinctly. Hearing everybody's voices and hearing your whys have calmed me. I was honestly nervous. I'm always nervous, which is supposed to be a sign that you care. So I'll just leave it there. So this is the who are we. This is our PTA board. I also want to say, I do hear folks like, I'm not on the PTA this year.
Everyone's on the PTA. If you show up and you like serve coffee one Friday, you're on the PTA. If you volunteer one lunch, you're on the PTA. If you come to a PTA event, you're on the PTA. There is the difference between like, are you on the PTA executive board, which is these folks on the screen here, and the executive board is the governing entity of the PTA. We're the folks to make sure we're not like laundering money and that we're like listening to the voices of the community and just like the governance of the PTA. But our PTA members are all part of the PTA. And in my opinion, folks who never show up to PTA meetings don't pay their dues, but are active in the community are part of the PTA. Our teachers are also part of the PTA. So I just want to throw that out there. This is our what. I'm not going to bore us with this. You can click on the PTA FAQs. It's a really great document that we update with kind of like who's who and what kind of events happen, et cetera, et cetera. So you can click on that. And then those 3 bullet points are kind of like our guiding missions, are like what we do, I should say. So we fund a wide variety of programs. We don't have time tonight to really dig into that, but what Ms. Ringwald said earlier is sadly true. PTAs do fill in a lot of gaps because California schools are funded in a really, excuse my language, effed up way. So for example, we bring our health clerk up to full time so that the kids can have someone on campus for the full school day and not just part of the school day. We help make sure there's interventionists on campus to help with small group learning. We don't lead those things, but we help provide the funding to make sure they can stay intact at the school. What are other school site things we do? We have in the past helped fund professional development for teachers. So there's a lot of things that we do that beyond our super fun Harvest Hunt and Arts Fest and Culture Fest and movie nights. Those are all really fun community building events, which you see in the second bullet point. But the funding really goes to our school to help it be as to just basically be as functioning and thriving as possible. And then the 3rd bullet point is sort of the boring one, but we try our best to provide clear channels for communication and connection, meaning please read the dispatch, please check out our website, and please subscribe to our calendars. And then this is another rather boring slide, where and when. Also know, how can you keep track? We have put together this page on the website, Communications 101, and you can click on all these little things to tell you sort of like how you can use Parent Square effectively, where our calendars are, et cetera, et cetera. So the most important thing, honestly, I know we don't all love it, but is to just use Parent Square. That is where all the information lives from both the district, from our teachers, and from the PTA. Okay, before I go here, oh, what did I just do? Sorry. Back. Oh, I'm pressing the wrong button. Ding, 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 ding. I did want to say we do have meetings the first Thursday of every month. So please, if you can mark your calendar and come on by, that would be great.
Except for August, our first meeting is next Thursday.
Yes, thank you, Maria. The calendar's a little strange this year. So our very first meeting is falling on the 31st of August, but it's typically the first Thursday of the month. I'm going to pass the mic to Nathan in a second because Nathan's way better at rallying people than I am. But I wanted to just throw up here, these are our upcoming events and immediate volunteer needs. There are year-long needs, but these are the things that we really need help with right now. We need lunch volunteers. Those are folks who show up at lunch recess and just help keep our kids safe and playing with each other. This also includes the garden. So lunch volunteers are not just the folks on the blacktop. We are trying to open our main garden at every lunch. And Alex is on the call, and if there's questions about that, she can speak to that. Room parents, we haven't really put a call out for this, but room parents are our liaison from the PTA to the classroom. So room parents are the ones who have their ears on the ground to be like, room 21 needs XYZ, or room, so-and-so's classroom is not in the loop, or, whatever. They help with that. The I Heart Coffee crew is basically our hospitality crew. So those are the people who help with the coffees in the morning, teacher appreciation efforts, maybe helping making our PTA meetings welcoming. So getting food for the meetings, helping to provide babysitting, all that stuff. And then our two big events for the fall is Monster Dash, which is our huge fundraiser of the year. We are aiming to raise $80,000 with it. We raise $110K every year as a PTA. Monster Dash is where we bring in the majority of our money. So we really hope everyone can rally in the next month. And then the good news is when we're successful at fundraising, we don't have to bother you for fundraising for the rest of the year, which is what happened last year. And it was wonderful. And then Harvest Fest is our fall celebration. There'll be a costume contest. It's really fun. I don't know if we've decided if it's on the blacktop or at Washington Park, but that's just a really fun community event. So those are our immediate volunteer needs. And then to Maria's point, complete your AUSD requirements. If you click on this link, it will bring you to a wonderful document that Maria put together, How to Volunteer at Maya Lin. And it will give you all the things you need, including places you can get your live scans at. Okay, I'm going to pass the mic to Nathan, who is far more fun and engaging than me, and he's going to explain to you why we need you specifically. These 3 bullet points on the right side of the screen are really 3 very simple steps you can do to get involved right this moment.
And real quick, before I start jumping in,
yes,
I want to make sure that Kyle and Kirsten's question gets answered in the chat. Via that link, they'll be able to sign up for like room parents and find out all the information on there as well.
Yeah, so on there's different options of like, do you want to be a garden volunteer, a lunch volunteer, a room parent, safety team, or just any other type of volunteer? If you just fill that out, we will get that information. And if you could possibly maybe do teacher, what teacher your kiddo has, that's always helpful. Thank you.
Woo! So the one thing that I got a chance to do with Erica last year is kind of look at, the national PTA and what they're doing. And there's a national PTA, and then every state has, PTA, and then every school, right? Every city has their own, every school has their own PTA. And one day I was kind of looking at with my kiddos out the window, watching birds begin to build their nest and how resourceful they are. They'll grab a twig, they'll grab a feather, they'll grab a gum wrapper, and they'll begin to build their nest on a branch. And, we are a PTA that's on a branch with a nest, and probably down the way is another nest, within our district. And we could look at that and go, what's the point? What can I actually do? How can I actually make a difference? But I see our nest just exploding with, fireworks and different colors, because everybody's bringing whatever they can, their blade of grass, their twig, their gum wrapper. And it's like, what can we do with this? We can strengthen and grow our nest together. And looking at the little bird's nest outside of our windows, through storms, through rain, through whatever's coming their way, those little nests are still there, strong. And so every time we have somebody that comes in and goes, all I have is a blade of grass. Well, that blade of grass is going to strengthen our nest. We survived the pandemic together. It was hard. It was difficult, but our nest was still there. So any little part that you guys can do, whatever you can, if it's 5 minutes. We started out with only telling, Miss Goodwin, we can give you 20 minutes. And that's how we got involved with the safety team. And Gina just began to build, right? Any twig that was thrown her way, that nest kept growing and growing and growing. And even this year, new things were implemented to just make it better. And it's all about leaving that legacy, leaving something for the next generation, for other parents to be able to come in and go, oh, we can just continue to build. We can repair certain areas. So we're just calling out to you guys. Many of you guys have giftings, abilities that you never would have thought could have applied. But you would be surprised if you start to use your voice and say, this is what I can do. This is my expertise. You would be surprised that we can plug you in that we can get you going in with a teacher or get you connected into an event. Every little thing counts. I tell you, it's from garden. You may not have a green thumb like Alex. You know, I don't think I have anything green on me. I'm horrible when it comes to plants, but I love getting my hands dirty. So whatever you can do, you know, I brought dirt. One time Nalani said, can anybody donate dirt? I called a couple of people. I'm a good connector. So I'm like, hey, do we have dirt? My cousin happened to work at Paganos and say, we're giving away a pallet of dirt. I'm like, give it to me. My school needs it. So it's those kind of moments, right? It's a blade you never thought could be used, a twig you never thought you could use, or a feather. But yet, when the time comes, you have no idea how invaluable you are. So to all of you joining us for the first time, thank you, because I see nothing but great potential in every single one of you. The fact that Kyle and Kirsten, you guys said, oh, how do you volunteer? You asked that question. Now I'm going to be looking for you, like, where are they plugged in? But all of you, thank you so much for just even being here. I agree with what Erica said earlier. It's never too late. It's never too late to make a difference. And don't even think about that. You know, we live in the here and now. One of my favorite movies, Kung Fu Panda, whoop, whoop, Master Shifu said, right? Yesterday's history, future is a mystery, but today is a gift. That is why it's called the present. So let's be present and really just dive in. Gina's laughing at me because I will quote the heck out of kids' movies because I have to watch them over and over and over again. But I learned to connect with people that way. So let's Kung Fu Panda this. Come on, guys. Let's get involved. Let's do our part. Let's bring all our materials together. Build the heck out of this nest. We got a lot of kids that we get to help and be a voice for, but we can all make a difference together.
And yes, this is why Nathan does the pitch, because he's just brings us all to tears all the time. But I won't mention the other school because I don't want pit schools against each other, but I have to tell you that this is one of the most joyous parent communities I've ever been a part of. So we're happy to have you all here.
One more thing.
Yes,
I have to do the shout out. I found out from a friend who was at the district meeting just a couple of days ago that Maya Lin got a huge shout out for our safety team and drop off at the district level. So the district is looking at our drop off that Wolfie over here, my beautiful wife, put together, and they're starting to recognize the efforts that parents are making in the community of their schools. So we're making waves. We're not just some little nest on a tree anymore. We're starting to be the whole tree, the whole quesadilla, the whole enchilada. We're starting to be the biggest thing on this island. So join the wave. Okay, I'm done.
No, Nathan, one meeting needs to just be Nathan like pumping us up for an hour because it's fun. And I would happily like keep the conversation going, but I am a person who tries to be respectful with our time with these meetings. So I'm sorry to rush us along. But I love Nate's analogy of the nest. It really doesn't take much, right? I don't think you said this tonight, but Nate has said in the past, like, you might think your feather is very soft and very weak and it's not going to do anything, but you add it to the nest and that's like that little bit of cushioning that one of the babies need. And I also think that our nest is very loud and full of little wolves, like howling extra loud. It's a very fuzzy, big, giant, loud nest. So I'm going to keep us moving along because I want to make sure we answer questions, which is really one of the main purposes of this Welcome Zoom. Oh, goodness. I just am like opening so much stuff. Sorry. Okay. Before I move on from this slide, again, this is kind of, it's not as exciting as Nate's nest analogy, but these 3 bullet points, I just want to break them down a little bit because it can be a little confusing. The first one is join the PTA. That's just paying your membership dues. Paying your membership dues does get you discounts at some places. I think right now they're running a discount thing with farm to fresh. I don't know what theirs called. It's like a farm veggies fresh to you. I don't remember, but it's a veggie box in the Bay Area, and if you order, you get a discount on it. And if you use the Maya Lin code, some of the money that you spend with them comes back to the school. So there's little things but that's really just a membership that helps keep us, copacetic. It means that we actually have a membership to work with. Join the PA Squad. Quite frankly, that is like the number one thing to do. That is essentially a mailing list that lets us see how people want to be involved, what their strengths are, what they bring to the table. And it's just a great resource for us to make sure we're reaching out to people in the way that they want to be involved. And then make a direct donation. This is a little controversial, but I'm a person who's just going to put it out there. We raise about $350 per family. Right? That doesn't mean we ask every family to donate $350, but that's what it comes out to. We aim to raise about that much per family, meaning every family is benefiting $350 worth of the PTA. So I like to throw that out there because if you're a person who can donate $50 a month and that's like not a thing, you are helping a huge amount. If you're someone who's like, oh, I can donate $350, that's a huge thing. If you're a person who cannot do that, that is okay, because hopefully those who can will help. But the more we kind of rally donations and fundraising, grant writing, all of that at the start of the year, the less we have to harass everyone later. There is an incentive. Anybody who participates in the membership drive, specifically joining the PTA, at the August 30, oh, that's a typo. Sorry, at the August 31st PTA meeting. Oh, I see. If you do it by August 30th. The winner will be drawn at the August 31st PTA meeting. Wow, that's confusing. I'm going to fix that. But we have A's tickets to give away. We have a big September 15th A's game, and we have tickets that we can give away for that game. So join the PTA, join the PA Squad, make a direct donation, and the incentive is you will be entered into that A's ticket giveaway. Okay, collective strength. We're starting to wind down the meeting. If you, everyone, even leadership folks, if you could share in the chat box what your name is and what you are excited to bring to the table, that would be awesome for two reasons. One, it will help me get to know you all a little bit better, and B, I'll have a record of it. We did this exercise last year and I had no record of it. So please, for a moment, go in the chat box, write your name, and write what you are excited to bring to the table. It doesn't mean you have to, but what's an example? I'm a dance teacher. I would love to offer dance lessons at Maya Lin, like volunteer and just do movement classes. I would love to do that. So I would write Erica Hartono, I can teach dance. So if everyone would just take a second to do that, and Maria, if you are available to
I was just about to. I was reading your mind.
Yeah, that's why I love
So
you.
I will say Maria, and here to read Erica's. No. Megan, Sharon, to help out and contribute when and where I can. We got some people that have to go. We got Julia, excited to bring my voice and my controlling project management skills. We need lots of those. Rebecca, teaching social skills is my superpower. Amazing. Let's see, anyone else that wants to participate? And then one thing that I will call out, Gina, I remember said this, I think it was like my first time I joined. And I'm going to say this because I think it was so important that she said this is, don't worry if you don't have a skill, we still want you. And I'm sure you said it a lot nicer, but don't feel like, you need to own something. Alex, I'm going to grow more plants and kids. Yay. Alex Lewis, provide snacks for the office for kids who would not otherwise have one. Thank you. Monica, I'm excited to be part of this community and do what I can to help the kiddos. Thank you. And free coffee and donuts. Yes. Let's see here. Anyone else that wants to add? I think the annual dues are $13.75.
They are.
I was trying to look, or you know what? It's $12.75, but we have to pay $1 in fee, so total is $13.75.
Oh. It's a very expensive membership.
Very expensive. Yes. Gina,
little over $1 a month.
Yep. Gina, continue. Safety team, Wolfie.
Thank you. Thank you, everyone. I always put too much on the agenda, but let me just make sure I haven't missed anything important. This is just a starting point. The reason why, I should actually say the reason why we have a PTA Welcome Zoom. It's a lot of information. And the feedback I got from the last board that was exiting was, please offer some kind of like info session so that that first meeting isn't 3 hours long, right? So that's what the purpose of this specific Zoom is. So I appreciate you all coming and asking your questions. Let me just make sure I'm not leaving off anything important. Again, I always plan too much. Dreaming is a form of planning. If you're in that Jamboard, there is a what if brainstorm. We would just be adding on from last year. I've really used this Jamboard a lot. I go to it and I see like what people have suggested. And that is just a sky's the limit brainstorm, as if we could do anything possible. And so please feel free to use that Jamboard to record your ideas. We won't talk about it tonight though. And then, yay, we did it. We made it to questions. Let's make sure. Yeah, oh, look at that. Okay, so it is 7:40. I don't think I said an end time, but I can stay on until 8. I do want to excuse our PTA board members if you need to go. They've already had a board meeting this week. So if you need to go, that's fine. But I can stay on till 8 p.m. to answer any questions from our new friends, any questions from our old friends. I'm not shooing you away, executive board, but if you need to go, it's totally fine. But before you go, I do request that you throw into the chat box something you're feeling appreciative about. Yeah, and I will just sit on and answer questions, and hopefully other folks will too, just so I don't mess up and give the wrong answers. If you're too shy to unmute, use the chat box and ask questions there. In the interest of being as inclusive as possible, I realize I didn't do a great job about this last year. We are mostly English speaking that come to the PTA boards, and so it can be very English focused. I would love this year to have more of a practice, like, do you need a language other than English at this meeting? So if you're someone who is more comfortable speaking in a different language than English, let us know. I think on this call we have Spanish speakers, so like fluent Spanish speakers. I don't know what other languages we have on the call, but I know that for sure. So that is like something I want to do a better job at, because English is not everybody's first language and it can be a lot of information. All right, I am passing the mic on to all of you. Please ask questions. Understand that this was probably more info than you can process. MayaLinPTA.com. Oh, what? MayaLinPTA@gmail.com. Email it anytime with any questions that come up. Oh, so yeah, someone just put Spanish. Yeah, so if you're wanting translation or us to speak in Spanish, that's fine too.
I was gonna say, you can also send it in Spanish to the email and we will translate.
Yes. Yeah. But Maria's fluent, Nathan's fluent, so yeah.
Alex asked a question. Will there be any in-person PTA meetings this year?
We're hoping the October one will be in person. It's a little confusing. It's going to seem like we don't have a meeting in September. It's just August 31st. So that's basically our September meeting. And then October, I'm hoping that one is in person and that it's kind of like a volunteer fair. Gina's the one who actually brought this idea forward last year, but we couldn't figure out where to fit it. So my hope is that will be like a info session, but then mostly just committees getting together, like letting us know what they need volunteer wise. And so that makes sense to have in person. My hope is that we'll be kind of flip-flopping, Zoom in person, Zoom in person, or something like that. It's very interesting. People either want in person or Zoom. Nobody seems to want hybrid, which I don't disagree with. But then that's tricky, because if we do everything on Zoom, we lose our in-person folks. If we do everything in person, we lose our Zoom folks. So I'm gonna try to do a flip-flop. And for example, like our budget meetings we'll probably do on Zoom, because it's just a little easier to look at the documents. It gets more folks to the table. Does that answer your question, Alex? Are all the room parents assigned? No, we haven't started that. Nathan and I are gonna work on it. I was gonna send an email out today. Probably, hopefully, fingers crossed, next week at back to school night will be the final plea. Like, please, step up. I need a room parent from the teachers. But no, we haven't really pushed for much yet. We need lunch volunteers and we need room parents. Those are our like two major things. I haven't heard from you, Gina. I think the safety team is in good shape. Yeah. So lunch volunteers, which includes garden volunteers and room parents. What are room parents? For those of you who are like, what the heck? Those are people who act as liaisons from the PTA to the room. They're also the folks who really bring a lot of classroom community, which is why Nathan is going to help with room parent coordination this year, because he is our VP of engagement. And our room parents are, quite frankly, one of our like most important advocates for community and engagement.
Yeah, room parents, put like field trips together, like play dates for like weekends and stuff for the whole classroom, gathering with other third graders or fourth graders or whatever grade they're in. And they also are a big help for teacher appreciation, or when teachers' birthdays come up, to take care of things in the classroom. So we will be looking for you.
Well, and I just noticed the end of Gina's question is that absolutely being a room parent is one of like the coolest ways to get involved in the school, like right off the bat. And most of the classrooms have a room parent team, so you won't be on your own. Usually it's like 2 to 4 parents who kind of share the load. Do we have any other questions? I think oh, Allison is still here. Oh, and Paulina's still here too, but it's mostly old faces. So you can ask questions too, but I would love to prioritize Paulina and Allison if you have questions. No. Paulina's
I want to pause for Allison. I don't want to override if she's got some questions, but I will say that just to give you guys a heads up, our safety team this year, the kiddos, we're in the second week, third, I don't know how many weeks we've started now. Second week. And they're doing so fantastic. Usually, if I can, be truthful, the times that Nathan and I want to quit is always the first 3 weeks of school. We're like, we're never doing this again. For sure, never doing this again. And I don't think we've had that moment yet. So we've still got one more week left, but it's going great. And I think some of you guys, I have kids on my safety team. I'm pretty sure, yeah. So they're doing fantastic. And it's really cool because right now they're in the stage where they're kind of quiet and shy. And, I'm excited to get to the point where they know their voice and they're confident and they're like, just feeling really good about their job. And that's my favorite part of safety team, is watching them kind of develop into like a really bossy, in a good way, human, which is really cool. So we got a really great team this year.
Yeah, they're very profesh. I'm very impressed. It is now 7:47. Paulina says she has no questions. Allison had to go. So I think, I always like to leave with, oh, Allison's back. I like to leave with appreciations. So please either unmute yourself or throw in the chat box what you are leaving this meeting feeling appreciative about. Before we move to that piece of things though, especially for our new folks, there's so much information to share. This was extremely broad. So you might be hearing like, safety team, what are they talking about? What's an affinity coffee? So keep those questions, and throughout the year, hopefully we can answer it. But I was really struggling tonight. I was like, do I literally just break down what every single committee does? And I was like, no, that's too much. So just know that we're always here. Send us an email, mayalinpta@gmail.com. Ask any of these friendly folks that you see on the Zoom screen. And keep the questions coming. But yeah, please throw in the chat box what you're feeling appreciative about, or just unmute yourself. Alex says PTA. I'm assuming that means you're appreciative for the PTA. Paulina says thank you and good night. Someone please unmute themselves so we don't have to listen to me anymore. Monica, what are you feeling appreciative about?
I was just typing it. I wanted to say how appreciative I am of Alex getting kids in the garden this year, because seeing that last year, I'd never seen that before. That was new and they loved it. So thanks, Alex.
I'm gonna jump on the bandwagon. I'm gonna be on an Alex train right now. I was doing face painting for, I don't remember
Sweet
what
treat.
that's what it was. And and they were like, how can I help? And I was like, and she's like, how about I paint the stripes on? I'm like, yes. So I love, literally all she did was paint stripes on kids. I did the like colors and she did the tiger stripes, and it was like the most helpful thing ever. So that is a great example of like, what can I do? I can paint a couple stripes on some kids and made a difference. So huge, huge. So way to go.
And to the other Alex, I wasn't ignoring you. I love you too.
I never feel ignored by you, Monica. Thank you. I want to say that I'm grateful that this leadership has taken this and run with it. This has been a really recharging couple of years for me. There's been a lot going on where I wasn't able to get back to giving in a board capacity. And I'm really grateful that there were people who just said, yeah, no problem, got it. Take a step back, do what you need to do. So I'm grateful for that.
Jamie, thank you for joining the team. Thank you for giving us Jesse to come back on the safety team. You guys are awesome. You guys are such an incredible family. Your kiddos, man, they're awesome. So thank you for enriching our team and just taking us to a whole new level. So I appreciate you.
Thank you. Sorry my camera is so funky tonight. I'm like here and there, but thank you for saying that. And Jesse and Juliana are loving being on safety teams. So I think it's almost time to go to bed for tomorrow's early wake up. But yeah. And I just want to say thank you to Erica for meeting with me this morning and like going through all the Google Calendar stuff, and I think we figured it out. I appreciate you spending your morning with me.
August is having fun raising our hands. So she's moving back from laptop to laptop and doing things.
August. I'm going to stop recording, but we can all keep on hanging out.